just a handful of short minutes, depending on how things go.
The matchup can take a lot of turns. If both people are on creature draws and stuff trades, it can go on for a long time. It's really rare for someone to just win on turn 4. In terms of the number of turns, the matchup can take a while, but in terms of time off the clock, shouldn't be all that long.
Collins a couple of mountains there, along with the Fanatical Firebrand to get our final started here in the River City of Richmond, Virginia. We're going to go over to Will, who's got a mountain. He has a Gear 2 Lava Runner and simply will pass the turn back over to Collins. Wizards lightning the draw there from Mullen. He'll play a mountain. This is a lightning strike. That is an attack for 1. We're going to head back over to Will now as he falls down to 18. That'll be a mountain. This will be a Viashino Pyromancer. Trigger, it's 18 all.
And this would be the spot where being on the draw against Chainwhirler would be really bad.
Well, it doesn't look like Mullen has one yet as he draws a mountain. He'll play that third land. And we'll simply pass the turn back. So we'll go back over to Will Pulliam now.
I am not a fan in this spot of, so I guess the argument for firebranding right away is if Pulliam has Wizard's Lightning plus light up the stage, you let him do it.
Okay.
The other side of it is if he plays a haste creature, you have the opportunity to, if he plays his own Fanatical Firebrand, you can block one and shoot the other.
Yep.
I'd lean slightly towards trying to hedge a little bit against light up the stage, but in any event, Pulliam didn't have it.
Chainwhirler gets hit by a Wizard's Lightning. Will's got the lead right now in favor of life totals, 18 to 17. There is a fourth land and a first Chainwhirler here for Collins. That's going to make it 17 all, so we head back over to Will. Will has a fourth land, but it doesn't look like he has Chandra just yet. There's a Gear 2 Lava Runner. And it's a passing of the turn, so let's go back over to Collins. Mountain the draw there. Here's an attack. This is a lightning strike. That'll take care of that. Collins will simply pass the turn back over to Will. Here's the window for Chandra if he has it. He'll start by attacking for 1. Wizard's Lightning will go there. I like the attack first, especially if there's a Chandra afterward. It's going to be a light up the stage, an expensive one. Hit 1 is stage, hit 2 is Firebrand. Do you play the Firebrand now? Looks like the answer is yes. There's a mountain.
It's only bad against Chainwhirler. You know, the upshot of holding it back is that you set up Firebrand, shoot you, cheap light up the stage and go. But Pulliam's got enough mana where he's probably not, it's not appropriate for him to give up equity to try to make the light up the stage cheaper.
Collins with a mountain of shock and I believe a lightning strike in hand as we head back over to Will. See what Will wants to do with this Firebrand. He's going to attack. This might get killed by a shock, and it will. Now here's stage off of the previous stage. That's a Skewer the Critics. This is a Runaway Steamkin. Runaway Steamkin will be played. Skewer the Critics will be on suspend for lack of a better term, and we're going to head back over to Collins Mullen. Collins will draw now. He's found another mountain. What he needs is risk factor, I think. At least that's a step in the right direction.
Well, this is the spot where risk factor would be very good, especially with the game being played at this sort of pace. Life totals are fairly high, but Pulliam can afford to take 8 here. You know, it would still be a great draw, but we've hit the point, I think, of the game where Pulliam's Chandras are better than Mullen's risk factors. Should one of the people find their marquee card.
Skewer the Critics is going to go upstairs. Mullen's going to fall down to 14. That's a mountain and a passing of the turn. So both players looking for their marquee cards in the matchup, or just no more lands and more spells, please. There's Runaway Steamkin. Pass the turn back. Will Pulliam will untap and draw. Remember, Will has 4 Chandra Fire Artesian in his main deck here this weekend. And that is quite a few. Lightning Strike will take care of Runaway Steamkin. There's Fanatical Firebrand. Another mountain just passed the turn back. Life totals are still relatively high for both players.
Yeah, a lot of trading. It's why the expensive cards are good in the matchup, even though it's mono red aggro. There's just so much trading. Things bounce off each other. You can play these deep games. Life totals are high.
There's Chandra. There's your card advantage engine that's very difficult to kill. Fanatical Firebrand is the reveal. Obviously going to be played. Not sure if it's going to be shot right away. I'm not sure if it's going to be attacking or shooting the other Firebrand.
Just shoot. I mean, you're at 15 against 14. You're not going to run Mullen down in the short term, and the late game favors you. You get to that Chandra ultimate, it's just done. And as we noticed before, there's no way to incrementally wear down Chandra by attacking or using burn spells because you take too much damage on the way back.
Oh, there's another Chandra. Looks like Will's thinking about casting. I'm not sure if he needs to.
Yeah,
he's two activations away from the ultimate. Well, looks like he will. I'm a little surprised by that. I don't know about you. Reveal Mountain?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine either way. My intuition is just to race to the ultimate, but...
Yeah, I like... Okay, well, here's here's Light Up the Stage, excuse me. That's a step in the right direction. Mountain is 1, Steamkin is 2. Play that Mountain, play the Steamkin, pass the turn back. I feel like you just want to race to the ultimate as well, but could be incorrect about that. Up to 6, take a look. Lightning Strike, kill that. Pyromancer will bring Mullen down to 12. But you're seeing Chandra Fire Artesian go to work here, folks. It has been very impressive all weekend long when we've watched Will. Light Up the Stage will reveal a Goblin Chain Whirler and a Shock.
Not a bad set of cards. The Chain Whirler is a turn off of Chandra getting to the ultimate, and you get to free roll the Pyromancer down.
I do really like, oddly enough, the flavor of Chandra where, you know, you hit her and make her mad, you pay for it.
Yeah, the retribution sort of feel to it.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, it's cool.
Chain Whirler hits Chandra, so it looks like Colin should take 1 from that. We head back over to Will. Plushing Chandra back to 6. This is a Runaway Steamkin. That will be cast. And this is a Fanatical Firebrand. Will waiting to put a counter there, and he does get to put a counter on the Runaway Steamkin. No cards left in hand, and just passing.
Pulliam's empty-handed here, so Mullen can sit here and wait, take a draw step, and not rush the shock on the Steamkin. No risk of Pulliam playing over the top of him in response.
Well, let's light up that there stage, folks. 1 is a Skewer the Critics, 2 is a Light Up the Stage. This game's getting interesting.
These are big hits.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Pulliam is obviously quite favored if the game goes long. He's at 14, so it's not a crisis point yet, but you know, you're starting to sweat a little bit. His possession looked really good before, and you want to go back. Being a turn off of that ultimate now, starting to look like it's making Pulliam's position a lot more dangerous.
Here comes a Chain Whirler. I gotta wonder where it's going. See if we can get confirmation on that, if it's going at Chandra, if it's going at Will. It looks like it's going at Will, because picking a fight with Chandra is not ideal.
Yeah.
Well, there's your block, and there's your shot. So Colin's Mullen going to fall down to 10. Next up, Stage again. 1 is a mountain, 2 is a mountain. Play a mountain. Play a shock. And you get to use Skewer next turn.
Yep.
So we're going back to Will. Up to 7. Top card. Viashina Pyromancer. Obviously casting that. Mullen's going to fall down to 9. Looks like it might be down to 8.
Mullen, I think he has 1 left. he desperately needs a Chain Whirler. Clear out the blocker, take Pulliam a turn off of the ultimate, and get in to hit this turn.
Looks like he drew a shock. Chandra is no fun to play against. Yeah, looks like at least we know the mountain. There's a card hiding behind that. Yeah, looks like it may be a shock.
Yeah, I think Mullen is going to have to suck it up here, and you, either with an attack or with a spell, knock a little bit of loyalty off of Chandra. It's obviously a really painful way to do it, but I think going ultimate is just going to be lethal.
Oh, it's definitely game over. It's 7 damage right away.
Right.
Yeah, so you're at 1. If you think Will's going to brick on 7 draw steps, you're out of your mind. Will might be thinking about taking this damage. Yeah, he's going to fall down to 11. Okay.
I really like Pulliam taking here because he knows what we all know, which is just Mullen has got to do something about the Chandra.
Mm-hmm.
That's a card, and Mullen only has so many cards to work with, so there's a reasonable chance that the Pyromancer gets a card out of Mullen here. And Pulliam's life total is high enough where I think he can accept the hit without risking too much.
Well, the skewer should only cost 1 instead of 3 because he hit him, so Spectacle. But
you can choose not to play with Spectacle.
yeah, you have the option. Let's plus it. Another Chandra. Okay. Well, he did it last time. He's going to do it again. Next card, Shock. Maybe it's about just seeing as many cards as possible instead of working towards the ultimate. I'm not sure. Looks a little unorthodox, but Colin's going to fall down to 6 now.
I don't think this game is going to go, after the play that Mullen made last turn, I don't think the game is going to go long enough for Chandra's ultimate to become part of the equation.
So you don't think there's going to be any more attacks at Chandra?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, Mullen just can't survive it, so.
Down to 4.
Risk factor.
Attack you. Yep, there's your block. Lightning strike in hand. Okay. Starts with Chandra being plussed. This is a Gear 2 Lava Runner. That's a 2-2 with haste. Attack you. Colin shoot lightning strike, and I know he does not want to strike that.
Yeah, I mean, can you win? Is it one of those spots where you just have to hope his hand is 2 lands and you have a shot at killing on the way back, or do you just play it straight up?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's right to play it straight up here, and Mullen did the same.
Skewer the Critics is going to go after that Goblin Chain Whirler. Will feeling as though he's got the inevitability here. I think Collins just drew a mountain. He sure did. He'll play a mountain and pass the turn back. Chandra's going to continue to dominate this game, folks. Pulliam will draw a card. He'll put a die on that Chandra. That's 7 loyalty counters there on the Planeswalker. That's a mountain. That will enter the battlefield. Pulliam, not a lot going on in the hand.
It's got to be exactly risk factor here for Mullen.
Pyromancer.
I mean, you hit Chandra.
It's 2 damage to a player, right?
Planeswalker too, I think.
No. Almost certainly not. Oh, wow. What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Look at you, Red Man.
I know. Yeah, it comes up. You know why it comes up?
Okay, because it would have come up there.
You know why it comes up?
Why?
Because Magic Online just prompts. It's the trigger goes on the stack each time that you're prompted. That's how I knew. It's really wild for a common to reference dealing damage to
Planeswalker.
But whatever. There's no rules.
Wow.
There's no rules.
Wow.
Yeah. It wouldn't have amounted to much anyway. You knock the Chandra down, you go to 2, and he's drawing 2 cards a turn with you.
Whatever, you might get really lucky.
Yeah.
Instead of just being dead.
Right. No,
Yeah.
there's hope. There's hope.
I didn't know that. All right,
But
well, fair enough.
There you go.
I don't think Collins knew either. Well, Will Pulliam is going to win game number 1 here over Collins. Mullen, mono red aggro, mirror goes to the player on the right. We will start with the sideboard for the player on the left. It's Experimental Frenzy ×4, along with Lava Coil ×4. 2 Tibalts, 2 Legion War Boss, 2 Rekindling Phoenix, and a Risk Factor. What do we like?
So we've seen the Rekindling Phoenixes come in here. I think we should see that happen again with, I guess, the Lava Coils to protect against opposing Rekindling Phoenixes. 4 copies of Experimental Frenzy, though that's the top billing, along with the additional copy of Risk Factor.
So it looks like Collins' deck gets a lot better after sideboard.
Well, that depends on how good you think Rekindling Phoenix and or Lava Coil are. I'm skeptical. But Experimental Frenzy is definitely a big deal.
Well, hold on. You tell me. You're the guy.
I'm not.
I didn't know if you issued a Power Rancher, don't damage to Planeswalkers.
I'm not super into Rekindling Phoenix in the mirror match, and I'm not super into Lava Coil either. But if you're bringing in Rekindling, if you think Rekindling Phoenix is good, then you bring it in. And if you think that Rekindling Phoenix is good, you assume your opponent's doing the same thing, and then you bring in Lava Coil.
Other side of things here for Will. 4 Lava Coils, 3 Risk Factor, 2 Tibalt, 2 Legion War Boss, 2 Rekindling Phoenix of his own, and a card that I don't think Collins has at all in Direfleet Daredevil.
Like the Daredevils. And again, we're working under the assumption that you like Rekindling Phoenix in the mirror match, so you bring that in along with the Risk Factors.
Again, it's like this game inside the game where, you just, do you think your opponent's going to bring in Rekindling Phoenix?
I think Lava Coil is... I'm not into Rekindling Phoenix, and I think Lava Coil is so bad if it's not targeting Rekindling Phoenix. So it's a sorcery, and a lot of the creatures in the deck have haste, so that's already not good. And then it doesn't deal damage to players when you're in the top decking trying to finish the game out. It's just a card that you often draw and go, I wish that was literally anything else. That's been my experience with it.
Well, we will see, pardon me, how both players sideboard here in just a moment. But for now, let's talk one last time about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale. Not a lot of time left on this particular sale. It's going to end on Monday morning at 10:59 East Coast time. We'll, of course, have a new sale for you at 11 a.m. East Coast time, however. We'll change some things up. But for now, hundreds of new singles on sale through Friday, including History of Benalia, a Unstable Plains, a Chrome Memorial, Lightning Greaves, and a whole bunch more. Go.starcitygames.com/sale for more information as we get ready here for game number 2 between Collins Mullen and Will Pulliam. Keep in mind, next weekend, I take that back, 2 weekends from now, we, the Royal, will be in Syracuse, but you and I will not be.
Yes.
We'll be in Louisville 3 weeks from now, but you'll get to hang out with Matthias Hunt, Emma Handy, Todd Anderson, Ryan Overturf, the Turf himself. Nick Miller will be there, along with the rest of the SCG Tour crew, as we are making our way through Season 1 here. We're on the back end of it. We're going to crown a champion here. A lot of players will be shifting on the leaderboard come Wednesday when we get all that updated. Little week off next week, and then Syracuse will be another standard open if memory serves. And we're going to see just what happens there as well. You know the Canadian crew is going to be there. Matthew Dilks, Tariq Patel, Edgar Magaish, and many others. And we'll see who else comes out for what is a very important open for those looking to qualify for that end-of-the-year tournament in Roanoke, Virginia, the Players' Championship. Oh, look at you checking out your flight. Early morning there, fella.
Yeah, departing Richmond at 5:40 in the morning.
That sounds horrible.
That's my grind.
I know. I know you're on your grind. You think the computer makes it through security, or how does that work?
The last 2 flights I've taken, the TSA agent has commented on it. One said to me, "Sir, if you have 2 laptops, you have to put them in 2 different bins."
That's rude.
And I said, "No, it's severed.
Yeah.
It just appears to be 2 different laptops."
Yeah. That's just kind of rude.
And then the next one, my flight out here, TSA agent said, "You need to buy a new laptop."
Do I?
And I was like, "You need to do everything.
Yeah.
There isn't a single thing going on with you that's okay. So don't talk about my laptop, you know?" Well, you know, I didn't. Thank you for your service.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know.
Don't want to go in the back room, as it were. Miss my flight.
Yeah.
Have my toothpaste taken away. That's,
right.
By the way,
Yeah.
your toothpaste, do you check your bag?
I do.
You actually check a bag?
Yeah.
Okay, I was saying your
I don't-
toothpaste way too big.
No, I have peasant level status with Delta now, so I board late, and then you're elbowing a bunch of male baby boomers trying to get in line so you can try to get a little bit of the overhead space. I'm off it. What I do, check the bag. That way you pack a real toiletry bag. You don't have to do the Dickensian levels of toothpaste and deodorant they permit you. And then you don't have to like push in line to try to get in the airplane fast enough to get your bag in the overhead. It's easy.
The fact that they like ban the big tubes of toothpaste is so asinine. It's the only thing that really drives me crazy about going through security, because sometimes people just let it through, and the other time they're like, we need to take a look at your bag, and they're just like, this is above the allowable size, as if anything is going on there.
Yeah, and then I just imagining them just spending a whole day just dumping out people's water bottles and seizing their toothpaste and going home, cracking open a beer and thinking, I made a difference today.
Yeah. Or they just never buy toothpaste ever again. They just take everyone's toothpaste like you take hotel pens.
No planes hijacked and many tubes of toothpaste thrown out.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. Take that, Crest.
And I love that they have the bin where it's like, oh, if you want to pay postage, you can mail your possessions back to yourself, right? Anyone's ever done that. It's not a thing.
They have to offer it, though.
Yeah.
Frustrating.
Right.
Collins on a mulligan to 6. It's a better hand.
It's a nice one. That'll play. No power cards, unfortunately. Just a curve of stuff that's going to die. But light up the stage can recoup the mulligan.
Time to start it up. Mountain, passing it. Over to Will the Thrill. It's a mountain. We're heading back to Collins now. There's a Steamkin. That's probably dead, just like everything else in this matchup. Shock, you're real good, Runaway Steamkin. Heading back over to Will. That's a light up the stage. Hit 1 is a stage. Hit 2 is a lava coil. So
nice.
It's in.
Great. Yeah. Great. Great.
I expected that reaction.
It's so good.
Yeah. Well, now it is.
God, what is? He only gets it for a turn. I guess it's because you're making him choose between the light of the stage and the lava coil.
How about that? How about that? You're only sort of making him choose, because it is possible to have where all of it can happen.
Right, of course. You give him the option of, instead of making him play only the one, you give him the option of either or maybe both.
All right, this
both.
This is worst case scenario. This might be worst case scenario.
Losing my mind.
Light up the stage. Experimental Frenzy and a Shock. Land lava coil, most likely. All right. Well.
All right.
Not great.
All right.
Not great. But we'll see how things continue to go. Patrick, not a big fan of that.
Apoplectic.
Yeah. There's another chain whirler. That was worst case scenario for Will, is what I would say. Back to Collins, who will play a mountain and Shakya, and probably play this Experimental Frenzy and try to run away with the game. This is the difference between the two decks. Again, Will Pulliam does not have access to Experimental Frenzy at all. He's got those Chandras, which won him game 1. Collins has the Experimental Frenzies in the sideboard because they are, correct me if I'm wrong, at their best in the red mirror.
Definitely. They're also extremely good against white aggro.
Yes.
Another matchup.
Frenzies on the battlefield. Back to Will. Now remember, Will beat Experimental Frenzy when Ethan Gajewski played it. So maybe he can beat it again. This is a Runaway Steamkin. That is a Runaway Steamkin. Back to Collins. I hope his Frenzy cooperates. He'll draw. We'll look first and then he'll draw. What do we have here? Fanatical Firebrand. That's
good
a start.
start.
Next up. Remember, he hasn't played a land yet. Taking a long look at this one. Lava Coil. Get that out of here. Targeting the Steamkin instead of the Chain Whirler may be notable. Lava Runner.
Well, the thing is, even if he has to take another hit from the Chain Whirler or Chump Block, he's still drawing to all of his 3 damage spells the following turn, whereas the Steamkin can get to a 4/4 and become much more complicated to remove.
Kill the Steamkin with the Firebrand, attack with the Lava Runner for 2. We're heading back over to Will. Will draw. Will is behind, I would say. He'll attack. Collins is going to fall down to 12. This is a Lava Coil.
Cool.
Both players have brought them in. I mean, both players are trying to be prepared for Rekindling Phoenix. Yep. Clearly.
Clearly.
Experimental Frenzy, I believe, was the draw. Now that's a light up the stage that's going to be played. So 1, and that's with light up stage on the stack.
Yeah, you can hold priority essentially and see if there's an instant you want to cast before the light up the stage resolves.
We're seeing if we can get a look here. That's a mountain. Okay. How about this one? Another mountain. We're stuck.
Only sort of.
Yeah. Lava Runner. Wizard's Lightning at the ready. In for 2. I think if I'm Will here, I don't think I can kill any creatures anymore. I think every burn spell I draw just has to go upstairs.
Correct.
So strikes and lightnings
can't
and everything
play a long
else.
game. You can't even catch up with Chandra at this point.
Yeah, here's a lightning strike. Gonna go after. Looks like that. Yeah, he's gonna go after the creature. I'm a little bit surprised by that one because I just don't think that's the kind of. That's not the kind of game you're gonna win.
Yeah, right. I agree. Especially, he doesn't have his own experimental frenzies to even draw to, right? Yeah, so.
And Chandra's going to just be too much worse in this situation than I think if I'm Will. My thought process is I got to get lucky and just draw 4 3-damage spells.
You got to make the game about something else.
Yeah.
Playing a conventional game is not going to get it done from here.
Yeah, because Collins is not playing a conventional game. He's playing the cards off the top of his deck as quickly as he can. Steamkin's going to get a counter. Shock is going to resolve. Next one is nothing for now. This is a Wizard's Lightning. We're going over to Will. Collins is at 9. This is a Tybalt. Make a Knucklehead. Pass that turn back. Let's go back over to Collins. He'll take a look. Steamkin. Next one. Steamkin. Okay, well.
So this is a spot where Mullen can really only get bricked off by 2 mountains in a row and should have enough mana rotating through the Steamkins to break the experimental frenzy and play out of his hands to get to that point.
What's this one? Fanatical Firebrand. Okay. Counter.
I think Mullen should have made 3 there off of the first one. Just so likely that you're churning through.
Maybe there's interest in attacking for 4.
Maybe, but again, if you can keep going, you're gonna get back to 4 anyway.
Fanatical Firebrand will take care of that. Here comes your attack for 4. So Pulliam, is going to fall down to 6. And I would be shocked if we see another turn here. Okay, so going to cash in 3 mana. Going to take a look here. Scuria.
Yeah, now it's not going to be close because again he gets 3 mana here. All of his red spells basically produce 3 red.
Mm-hmm.
Or sorry, red. You get a rebate.
That's a lightning strike. We're done.
Yeah.
Experimental Frenzy is very good in the red mirror, folks. Collins Mullen is going to win game number 2 here against Will Pulliam. Mono red aggro. The mirror is going to a 3rd and final one. Yes, it is.
Yep. Noteworthy. Again, the game's actually in terms of total number of turns does take a long time typically. These games so far have not been outliers. It's pretty consistent with how the matchup plays.
This is just kind of what you expect, maybe?
Yeah, it's a long game. It's really hard it's really rare for someone just to go 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, attack you down, you're dead. There's just too much removal.
I gotcha. How do you think the format's going to respond to Red putting up this kind of performance here this weekend?
Well, I think the blue-black deck is really promising. The Demir strategy. Esper, Scott, the white cards are shaky enough, and the mana, the number of dual lands you had to play is a real cost. The blue-black deck that it taps out for creatures, I think, kind of in that Austin Collins vein.
Yep.
I think that's a good response. I don't know how good that deck is against Esper. I'm skeptical, but maybe you can figure it out in the sideboard or whatever.
I don't think it's very good against Esper.
No.
I really don't.
It's just, your thing dies, you drew a removal spell, you lose. You know what I mean? I saw that watching BBD play against Zach in the last round of the Swiss. Felt very much the same way of just, you just draw a couple cards in your main deck that are no good, and you flood out a little bit because the game goes long, and you don't have a lot to do with your mana, and you just lose a huge percentage of your games that way, and when that's what your game one is like, it's hard to catch up post-board.
Well, we're going to take a minute to learn about Collins Mullen, who's got his podcast, the MTG Grindcast, of course, 23-year-old from Durham, North Carolina. Opens played last year, 14, open top 8s, 3. He's got 7 on the resume with an open win back in Cincinnati, like I mentioned, a couple of years ago with Humans in Modern before it was really a thing that people were doing. I remember myself and Craig Krempels covering that tournament and just being kind of amazed as he didn't lose a match.
Right.
It was Cakewalk City. That weekend, which, Humans just won the last Mythic Championship. So imagine playing Humans at that tournament when no one knew it was a thing. Yeah, it was incredible. Invitational top 8 as well there for Collins. He loves some rock climbing and some bouldering, and he likes playing Experimental Frenzy in the red mirror too. As if he maybe does that one more time. He's our champion for a second time here on the SCG Tour. Also a member of Team Lotus Box, of course. So, Collins Mullen, that is you. And we are looking forward to watching you play one more game of Magic. We'll pull him no slouch, though, either. And both of these guys have had a great weekend with Mono Red. Team Lotus Box against Team Nova here in the finals. And I expect to see both these players show up in Syracuse as well. But I bet the format 2 weeks from now is a lot different than it was this weekend. These things tend to move pretty quickly nowadays.
Well, now there's sort of there's a runway, right? And it's not surprising to me that this top 8 was as star-studded as it was. I mean, it's rare we have 8 established names make the top 8. And I think in week 1, with people trying to experiment, maybe mana bases aren't really well refined. I think the gap in quality between the best players' decks and sort of the people filling out the room, it's just a huge delta. The people who are not in the know are at a massive disadvantage in this sort of tournament. On top of, maybe not knowing all the cards you're supposed to play around, like all of it. But now there's sort of a foundation for the format. I really doubt that it's, 75% mono red should be in the top 8 of these tournaments, or top 4 or whatever. But the deck's clearly good, but now people have the information and can start trying to figure out what the recipe is to fight it.
I would also say more than anything, this means that if you weren't before, you have to take Mono Red very seriously. Yes. This isn't some fringe metagame deck. Now, this is the real deal.
No, the deck's very good.
Yeah.
It's really rare that I play red lists where I feel like most of the time it's just, my curve's really good. Some opponents can't hang with a burnout plan, and that's how I'm winning games. With the red deck in this standard format, it feels like the cards are legitimate. Like, you are not sacrificing power level play in this deck.
No, these are all good cards.
They're all good.
These are all good cards. And we are going to see them be cast here after a quick word from our friends over at Ultimate Guard.
righty, Will, you're going to be on the play, assuming you'd like to be. Unless Collins has solidified his sideboarding, a little more shuffling for you lovely people at home to watch. And then game number 3 will be underway. We'll have a winner's interview with Nick Miller, of course. And you can find all the coverage of this event over on StarCityGames.com. Should have some nice recap articles for our premium members this coming week as well. And I know you're getting a little hungry there, so maybe there might be a fact or fiction too.
Yeah, I gotta eat.
I understand. I understand.
I messaged you in the SCG Slack and
Yeah.
said, I want to eat. And
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I didn't know in the context.
I'd like to write a fact or fiction.
That was on a Wednesday.
I want to
not
eat.
We're not hanging out.
I just want to remind you.
Yeah.
I want to eat.
I got
I'm
you.
getting hungry.
I got you.
You dial up, the Dick Tracy rogues gallery of other writers you had that go up against me. Find 2 of them and get me some questions.
I'll see what I can do.
Give me a fact or fiction with Ross. Should you attack you should attack your thief sanity into a 5/5 flash flyer. Patrick Sullivan, fiction.
Yeah.
This doesn't, without any additional information, this seems like a really bad play. Ross Miriam, fact, I did this.
Yeah.
It was recorded on camera.
Here's a link to it.
Here's a link
to the match. I'll be sure to put the link to the match. That's where the editing comes in. I got to make it look good for the people at home.
My answer will be fiction ?
Yeah.
Without additional information, I don't even understand the question.
Shock is going to take care of Fanatical Firebrand. A mountain there for Will. Pass the turn back. Let's go back over to Collins.
I did this and I regret nothing.
Yeah. G2 Lava Runner.
I would do it again.
Shock there. That is a Goblin Chain Whirler. Will takes a lead here in our 3rd and final one against Collins, as Collins will draw another land. I don't see an Experimental Frenzy in the hand just yet for Collins. And this is a Skewer the Critics. A sorcery makes that an easy decision to make as we go over to Will. Does Will have Chandra or the 4th land or both? Runaway Steamkin answers my question. The answer is no. We head back over to Collins. Lava Coil in Collins' hand, among other cards. There's Runaway Steamkin for him. There's land 4. Steamkin. Lightning Strike, saving the Lava Coil for maybe a Rekindling Phoenix that could show up. This is a shock. 2 for 2. Let's head back Will's way. I'm going to light up some stages here. There's a light up the stage and a Direfleet Daredevil. Interesting.
Kind of a clunky spread of cards there.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be tough for Pulliam to be able to play both. But I suppose now with land number 4, he can Direfleet Daredevil, shock, and go again. So he's okay.
It got a little bit easier. Yeah.
He's okay.
Here is Direfleet Daredevil. The powerful pirate will target shock. Shock will be played. And now light up the stage on the cheap. 1 is a mountain. 2 is a mountain. Well, it's 2 land drops at least there for Will. We're going to head back over to him. Collins has found a G2 Lava Runner. Not great in the face of the Direfleet Daredevil. It will join the fray. Wizard's Lightning will clear the way. And here's a hit for 2. Will should fall down to 18. But both these players are looking for their 4-mana haymakers.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like the first one to get to either Chandra or Experimental Frenzy is that's gonna be the game here.
Who will do it first? Oh, I see 4 mana being tapped. Our question is answered. Will Pulliam has a Chandra. He'll reveal the top card. It's a Lava Coil. There's a land. There's a coil. Now, if you are Collins, you need to find Frenzy right now. You can still get back into this thing. As there's a mountain was the draw. Lava Coil is the last card in hand. Will's going to untap. Let's take a look. Mountain. Next up. Chain Whirler. Swing that whip. Collins down to 16. Collins will draw. Is it a Frenzy? It's another mountain. He'll use that Lava Coil to take care of the Chain Whirler. But But Chandra is starting to run away with it, folks. Chandra's up to 7, threatening it ultimate. Top card is a mountain. Will play that. This is a Gear 2 Lava Runner. It's an attack for 2. Mullen's going to fall down to 14.
Got to be Frenzy like right now.
Like this turn, that is a runaway Steamkin. That is not Experimental Frenzy. And this should be Will Pulliam's tournament now. Lightning Strike is going to go upstairs. Mullen will fall down to 11. Let's make it 8. And a card that Will elected to put 4 copies of in his main deck is going to serve him well, as he will deal 7 to Collins, draw 7 cards, and I'm sure there's a burn spell in there somewhere. As there's the Skewer, there's the Fanatical Firebrand, and so much more. Will Pulliam enjoy a second title? You win Star City Games Richmond.
On the back, taking an established deck here, one of the staples in the previous standard format.